But let's talk about MGL now. Their Q4 margins came in below street estimates. Gross margins are at a 5-quarter low. Volumes were in line though, but the revenue growth was flat while their net profits actually declined. Ashu Shinghal, who is the MD of MGL, joins us now to discuss their Q4 earnings. Ashu, thanks a lot for joining in. Appreciate your time here. What led to this lower EBITDA per unit in Q4? It was at a 5-quarter low, I understand, and your operating expenses were also higher. And what is the steady state of EBITDA per unit that one can expect in FY25?
See, EBITDA has come down quarter last Q3 versus Q4. But if you compare last financial year versus this financial year, the EBITDA is higher. Last year it was at 9.4 rupees per SCM, and this year it is 13.9 rupees per SCM. So there is some growth in terms of EBITDA per SCM. However, the gas prices have stabilized. The prices have come down, and therefore the EBITDA has gone up. The gas cost procurement has come down. Therefore, the EBITDA margins have increased. And with respect to the volumes, we have gone up. And related to your query on the operating costs, we have launched certain schemes which has resulted into slightly higher operating costs this quarter.
Okay. So this EBITDA per SCM, right? You said in FY24 it was about 13.9. How much can you build on to it in FY25? What would the ballpark range be?
It's difficult to predict, but I think it is it will be slightly less than this number, because right now the market is very favorable to the conditions. And just for the records, we are selling the cheapest gas in the country, but the domestic gas is coming down. So therefore, the cost of procurement is expected to be slightly higher. And therefore, 11 to 13 rupees will be the correct range in which we expect FY25 to be the EBITDA range.
Okay, what I have is, I think on the call, Mr. Shinghal, was that number 9 to 11?
No, 11 to 13. Maybe 10 to 13 or in that range somewhere.
Okay, between 10 to 13 going forward is what you expect. And of course, I mean, if international gas prices start to come off sharply, as some are expecting, I mean, it'll change. The numbers will perhaps may look a little better.
I mean, the range, it's very big. 10 to 30 is a good range. So we expect if the numbers come down, the cost is already at a very low level. So we don't think that the gas cost will come further down. The other part is the domestic gas is coming down. So that will increase our procurement cost.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The APM share is off. On volumes, could you talk to us how, the 67%, I mean, what will this be led by? How will you do it? And what will need to be done to be able to achieve this?
See, it is divided into 2-3 sectors. One is the CNG, which is the main driver for the growth. So this year it was slightly subdued, but with the launches of many schemes which we have done the last quarter and this quarter, we expect the results to come in this financial year. Industry and commercial also, we are readying a lot of infrastructure in Raigad and Thane and other Navi Mumbai area. So some more industry and commercial are expected to come in. So that is the area where we think demand will pick up around 6 to 7%. This year we have clicked around 5.5% year-on-year growth on the volumes front.
All right. Hi, good morning, Mr. Shinghal, and good to see you. And interesting that EBITDA per unit, it looks like a little bit higher than what the street was working with or they understood on the call. But we'll take that 10 to around 13 rupees. On the volumes, a couple of questions. How much are you factoring in from the Unison acquisition? If you could give us a number out there. And what were the conversions and what are you factoring in?
See, Unison, we are selling around 1.3 lakh SCMD, and which is expected to grow around 10% this year on year. And in another 5 to 7 years, we expect that it will be around more than 1 million standard cubic meter per day. Regarding the conversions, we have clocked around 77,000 conversions this year. Last year, it was around 65,000. So there is a growth of around 12,000 vehicles. And some of the commercial vehicles have also come in the segment, which is the main driver for CNG volumes.
Okay. You have a big capex plan, right? Can you tell us how do you plan to fund this? I think 1,000 crores of capex is what you've planned for FY25. Would this put any pressure on your balance sheet? How do you plan to fund it?
Yeah, you are right. Around 750 to 800 crore will be the spent from Mahanagar Gas, and around 200 CR will be from the Unison Enviro. So around 1,000 CR will be the capex. The funding is from the internal generations because this year also we have clocked a profit of around 1,290 crore. So barring out dividend payout and other things and adding the depreciation, we have internal generation available with us, which we will be funding the capex with.
Okay, so can you tell me what is the, are there any debt levels right now? And you said you will be generating cash internally. So can you just give us those numbers?
Right now we are a debt-free company, so we don't have any debt in our books. But we will be generating around 1,000 to 800, 900 crore of profit every year. So that will be funding the capex plan. Plus we have some cash reserves also available.
Mr. Shinghal, just to go back to that first margin point, can we broadly say that margins, what you did in FY24, were kind of the peak? And then, this, I mean, you said 10 to 13 is a wide range, but roughly, I mean, that's it. That's the highest that you'll do, that MGL will do.
Yeah, I think we have to make a trade-off between volumes and margins. And also it depends on the alternate fuel cost and the cost of procurement, petrol, diesel prices. So we think that this is perhaps the peak which we have touched this financial year. And it is expected to come down going forward. And earlier also it was used to be in the range of 8 rupees, 9 rupees. And 9.5 rupees was the last financial year. This year it is 13.9 rupees. But we expect it to come down slightly in coming few years.
All right, Mr. Shinghal, final question then before we let you go. I think in the last year you commissioned around 36 new CNG stations and you upgraded more than 40 stations. For FY25, what is the target?
In FY25, we have slightly more aggressive target, around 50 stations from Mahanagar Gas MGL side and around 25-30 stations in Unison. So collectively, we expect 75 to 80 stations, new stations in both the companies put together, and maybe upgradation of 30 stations in this financial year.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Shinghal. So that's the word coming in from MGL.